Always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it, live from the heartland, fighting for you from the foxhole. Freedom, we do want you here. And who do you want in your foxhole, by the way? It's Friday, just breaking daylight. We've got all the breaking news to get you going today. Plus, we're going to take your phone calls, of course. Warning, the Steve Gruber Show often results in extended periods of American pride, optimism, and uncontrollable enthusiasm about America's future. We're kicking off a live broadcast and Real America's Voice and MTN networks, reaching a growing global audience. This is the Steve Gruber Show, a no panic zone. Thank you for being here. Three big things to know this hour. Number one, President Trump has won another major court battle and can end foreign payments accounting to billions of dollars. Another big win. Number two, Gavin Newsom says he's going to squeeze California so hard there will not be a Republican left in Congress. I mean, they already have 6 or 8 seats they don't deserve, so why not just make it a one-party status going so well for the folks there? And number three, we have learned multiple grand juries have now been seated, begun to do their work in numerous locations, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, among others. And that means that the grand conspiracy and its co-conspirators could be coming closer to a day of reckoning. So we will discuss Obama, Clapper, Brennan, McCabe, Yates, Strzok, Page, Comey, and all the other dirty dealers. After all, it is Free Speech, Free for All Friday, your chance to jump into the conversation on the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline. The number, 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966. Again, if you sign up today using the promo code Gruber, your first month of service with Patriot Mobile is free. I'm going to tell you some of the things they've been doing here in a few minutes. They've got a newsletter about the things they've been doing to help people out. All right? So let's get rolling. I want to touch on President Trump cleaning up Washington, D.C. first. I'm on my way there soon, and it seems to be a popular move for most people. Listen to this.
I think this sort of gives the game away here because Donald Trump is like Air Jordan towering over Joe Biden when it comes to their handling of crime. Look, in 2024, look at where Biden's net approval was on crime. Way underwater there at minus 26 points. It was one of Biden's worst issues. Granted, pretty much every issue was one of Biden's worst issues. And again, look at where Donald Trump is. Way, way, way above Joe Biden. What is that? That's 27 points. So Americans vastly prefer Donald Trump's approach to crime than they did to Joe Biden's. And again, I think it gets back to the point that Americans are far more hawkish on crime than a lot of Democrats want to admit.
All right, there you go. Donald Trump's approach on crime. Oh, and by the way, if I'm sure you missed it. But Marie Harf, a Democrat, right? On Fox yesterday tried to say, well, most of the cities that are high crime cities in America are led by Republicans. She was flamed out instantly because they gave her the top 10. Every one of them led by Democrats. Top 10 for murder, rape, robbery, carjacking. Every single one of the top 10 cities in America for crime. Led by Democrats, and led by Democrats for a very, very long time. All right, free speech, free for all Friday. Glad you are here for the conversation. Cliff is here for the conversation. He's going to kick us off today from the great state of Illinois, where J.B. Pritzker is a giant human being. And anyhow, Cliff, how are you?
Good morning. Yeah, let me just say I think everybody ought to be mindful and send up some prayers for Donald Trump and his meeting with Putin today.
Agreed.
And
could be a big one.
The way things are going in our country, that we ought to be mindful of just how bad people can be. I'd suggest Psalms 37 and just pray for ones that are looking out for the right thing and on this country. Thank you very much.
Good words, Cliff. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you being here. All right. Cliff from Illinois. And you know what? We should say a prayer for Donald Trump today, trying to get peace in Ukraine, bring the slaughter to an end, and maybe, just maybe, get a better nuclear arms deal as well. Wouldn't that be something? They'll never give him the Nobel Peace Prize Wouldn't matter what he did, but he deserves it. Paul is in Pittsburgh. Paul, how are you today?
Hi, good morning, Steve. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking. I mean, we slug it out every day. Sometimes I'm a little tired, but we do our best.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been too hot. But you know what, Steve? I'll be honest. I have no confidence in our American justice system. I don't think anything's going to happen with this Russiagate. And because of the immunity that the Supreme Court just rendered on president's actions, I have no confidence at all that any of these people that did this crap is going to get prosecuted and arrested and put in jail, which is where all of those people belong anyway.
They do.
Just an opinion.
Well, I'm going to take the confidence side of this for once, because I think for once, I mean, the 7 burn bags that were found in the Hoover building, along with hard drives and zip drives and all of this evidence, it was supposed to have been destroyed. I don't know if it was stashed back there by a patriot or just accidentally forgotten because they were clumsy. I don't know. But I do know this. Adam Schiff committed real crimes. Hillary Clinton committed real crimes. So did Brennan and Comey and Clapper. Go ahead.
Yeah, Hillary especially, I have words for her, but she deserves it. I like to see both her and Obama in orange jumpsuits and be thrown in prison, really.
Yeah. Paul, thank you for the call. Greatly appreciated from the Steel City. We got 2 back-to-back from the Steel City. Paul's friend there, maybe not. Ken from Pittsburgh is up next. Ken, how are you?
Good. Steve, I heard I have another Pittsburgh person up here. About 2 weeks ago, we had a person that was hit by a vehicle, and the news media up here was ramping it up, and then all of a sudden they found out that it was an illegal alien, and they completely cut the story off. That was one thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Why do you think they do that? It is remarkable, isn't it? You have a crime, it's outrage, it's concern, and boom, they're an illegal alien, and it's gone. Bizarre.
I mean, they were ramping it up. They showed the speed of this vehicle, that it hit this guy at such force, it drug him. It was sad, and then the story disappears. They say it's an illegal alien. They're holding him for ICE. That's the end of the story. They don't want the outrage in these democratic cities, and that's a shame.
Yeah. Sir, I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate you being here. Greatly appreciate Patriot Mobile, who makes this possible every week. Listen, if you want to have somebody that is doing good things for you, we're going to tell you here in a few minutes some of the great things that Patriot Mobile is doing. You'll be surprised. You'll say, that's not just a phone company. That's somebody I want to be associated with. That's right. Go to patriotmobile.com. Sign up. Tell them Gruber sent you. Use the promo code Gruber. You'll save some money. All right? It'll be good for you. And you'll feel good about what you're doing. When we come back, we got callers from all over America. That hotline number is 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966. In the spirit of Rush Limbaugh, it is Free for All Friday. I do like Free for All Friday. Spirit of Rush Limbaugh, the man that made this all possible, who was the icebreaker, busting up the norms and allowing us to come in behind him. Greatly appreciated. So in the spirit of that, free speech, Free for All Friday, powered by the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. To Alabama we go. We find Sam there. Sam, what's up?
Hey, Steve, good morning, man. This is the greatest show on television right here.
Thank you.
But, hey, my thing is, what about the FISA courts? They're okay with being lied to? Nobody talks about that.
That is a great question. Can you imagine?
Judges, they're okay with being lied to?
That is a great question, and we haven't talked about that. They were all lied to, misled, given information that was manufactured by Christopher Steele, bought and paid for through Fusion GPS by way of the Clinton campaign. And what about the Clinton Global Initiative now? Holy Lord, these people were bringing in millions of dollars, giving almost none of it to the people they were supposed to help in places like Haiti. I mean, but I like your point, Sam. How does a FISA judge sit there and say, well, it's cool, I got lied to? Sam, I've been in court once or twice in my life, all right, different reasons. I was a kid once. What would happen if you, what would happen if you lied to the judge?
Yeah,
Go on.
Another thing, if it was Republicans, they'd be sitting in jail waiting on their court dates. But I got a challenge worldwide, all over the planet. I'll bet anybody any amount of money. Nobody's going to be any consequences for that, for the Russiagate. Nobody. No fines, no jail time, no probation, nothing.
Well, I'm taking the opposite. I'm taking the optimistic line on this one because I finally think with those burn bags and things that Cash Patel, just let me tell you this. This is brand new news if you missed it. There are already a number of grand juries that have already been seated in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey, in New York. These grand juries are working. They're already seeing evidence presented. There will be indictments. What happens from there, Sam? I can't tell you, but there will be indictments.
Nothing happened from there. No fines, no probation, no jail, nothing.
I hope you are wrong. I know. I just hope you're wrong for the sake of our country. For the sake of our country, I hope you're wrong. Sam, thank you for calling in, my friend. God bless America. I can't argue with the sentiment. We've seen it time and again. We've seen this play. We've seen this movie. We know how it ends, and it ends with nothing. It ends with Steve Bannon going to jail, right? That bizarre as that is. All right, Frank in Phoenix. Frank, how are you in Arizona today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Steve?
Lovely, thank you. What is on your mind?
Well, I just want to say that they're not only going to get indicted, but they're going to all end up at alligator Alcatraz for the rest of their lives.
Wouldn't that be a dream come true? Now, wouldn't that be a dream come true?
That would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And
Frank?
then the other thing is that I switched from my old cell phone to Patriot Mobile, and I ain't going back, that's for sure.
I'm glad you're happy. That's what we want to hear, Frank. And let that be a lesson to you today, folks. If you sign up today using the promo code Gruber, you're getting a free month of service. How do you beat that? Free speech, Free for All Friday. Frank, thank you very much. All right. Let's get some ladies involved. Good idea, right? Ladies' perspective. Darlene in Florida. She's going to give that to us. Darlene,
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you. What's on your mind?
So I was calling about the Russia-Ukraine war. If you think back, the whole thing wouldn't have started. It would have been held off if we had addressed the bioweapons labs that were on the border of Russia. I think there were 7. I don't think U.S. would put up with Mexico having bioweapons labs on our border. I don't hear any talk of that. Was there anything addressed? We were complicit in putting those there. And also, there were many times the war could have been settled, as you know, but the regime kept encouraging Ukraine to fight Russia. And I think Zelensky is a bigger problem than Putin. That's my opinion on it.
Well, I appreciate you weighing in, Darlene. I think you make some valid points. Look, and Ivy and I have talked about this a bunch lately. I am of the opinion that it's better that Donald Trump is president today than over the last 4 years. Now, we could have had him for the last 4 years, that would have been great, but what he has learned and with the vigor and the intensity that he has come in this term. Man, you can't put a price on what's happening. I don't care if it's cleaning up Washington, D.C., closing the border, focusing on getting trade deals, or sitting down for the first Russia-U.S. summit in years. In years and years, it's the first time they've had a summit. These are all remarkably important things, and all in about 6 months' time. Democrats can bump their gums. Hey, he's not doing anything good. Trump bad. Sit down. Let the adults work for a while. We let the children run around and break things for 4 years. We're here to clean things up. Great call, Darlene. Appreciate it. Bruce is in Bay City, Michigan. Lovely part of the world. Bruce, how are you today?
Morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bruce. Okay, bring him down. Bruce, just get he's got to turn off the TV in the background. Make sure you turn off the TV in the background so you're not distracted. I'll bring him back. But in the meantime, I'm going to George in Iowa. George, how are you today?
Yeah, Steve, God loves you, and so does the GOP and Dubuque.
All right, I love Iowa.
I just want to comment about the truck drivers because I are one. We need to open all these scales on all the state borders because we have more illegal truck drivers than legal truck drivers. That's all I got to say. Please do something.
Wait. What do you mean by that? Hold on. What illegal truck drivers do we have? You mean illegal drivers?
Yes, Steve.
Illegal
They're
drivers.
not being checked. I see them in the truck stops. Some of them have left the country already, but it's still pretty bad. I mean, you should know if you're in Detroit, you see a lot. Chicago, I'm
sure.
I'm in Dubuque, and I'm down in Branson, and I see them down here.
I appreciate that, George. All right, open the scales because that's where people get checked. And there's scales along all the interstates and the toll roads and everything, as you know. Good to have you here. I'm going to tell you about a great project from Patriot Mobile and take calls from Greg and Bruce and everybody else after the break. Don't go anywhere. It is Free for All Friday on the Steve Gruber Show.
Confession.
All right, back to it now. We're going to pick it up with Greg in Alabama. 2 calls from Alabama today. We're well represented there. Roll Tide. All right, guys. How are you? Greg, what's up?
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Can you hear me?
Very well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to say 2 things. One thing's on the deficit. If they would take when they take all these people to court about Russiagate, strip them of their money because it's our money to start with and pay the deficit back off. And the other thing is, oh, Lord, I done forgot.
That's all right. I appreciate it. I think it's okay. Confiscate their cash, put it in the kitty, and say, look, you broke the law. Let's move on. I don't know if you can really do that, but I like the idea, Greg. Thank you for being here today. Frank is in Phoenix. Let's try Frank today. Frank, how are you? Man, we're having some trouble here today. What do you think that's about? Brock, do I need to get on the phone and start shaking some people, get their attention? What's happening here? The Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline. Go ahead.
Let's go to D in Pennsylvania.
Let's go to D in Pennsylvania. D, how are you today?
Good morning.
How are you?
I just can't. I'm good. I just have one thing to say.
All right.
Pam Bondi. She has got to be the worst.
Why?
New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all 3 Democrat states. That's where they sat those the court cases. Those people will never get convicted, ever. I do not like that woman. I don't.
Well, I'll say this, Dee. That's fair. I think she'll do all right because the main grand jury will get seated in Florida. Because these are not, hold on, let me be clear about this. These are not charging grand juries. These are actually, I guess I'll call this part of the funnel. All right, this is part of the funnel that this is going to feed through when they kind of clean it up and glean it out and say, okay, here's what we've got on this case, and this case, and this case. Then they're going to go to another charging grand jury. So don't get too worried yet, D. We got this thing. Pam's going to be all right, I think. I'll take a break and be back. It's Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Remember, turn your radios down, boys and girls, so you can hear me when I'm talking to you. And the world can hear you when you're talking back. All right, I'll be right back.
When a child
All right, here we are, cleaning up the rules here. I want to show you something here real quick about what Patriot Mobile does when you become a member of the Patriot Mobile team, all right? This is really important. They go out and they help people out in Texas Hill Country, those horrible floods we've seen. For those of you looking, look at that screen. Look at those steel chainsaws. Look at the bars on those. I am not qualified to run that chainsaw, I can assure you. But chainsaws, oil, gas, Gatorade, gear. And if you go, this is at patriotmobile.com, by the way. I don't see the other cell phone companies doing that. I see Patriot Mobile doing that, putting their money where America is, where you are. All right, so patriotmobile.com. If you're not a Patriot Mobile supporter and subscriber, I just say why. They're backing us. They're us. And that's important. So do support Patriot Mobile. Go check them out. patriotmobile.com. Promo code Gruber. That's right. Very well done there in the back. Patrick is in Pennsylvania. I think that's where we pick it up here today. Patrick in Pennsylvania, how are you?
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. That's the enthusiasm we need around here. That's the spirit. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say I have to agree with your caller a couple calls ago. Her name was Dee. I don't know if Pam Bondi's an implant. I supported her for a long time. But the first arrest, the shot heard around the world, the arrest that we get is a guy that throws a Subway sandwich at an officer on the Capitol. When are real arrests going to happen? Not people throwing sandwiches.
Well, that's not the first arrest. Let's be fair here. We have arrested thousands of illegals in this country. Rapists, murderers, human traffickers, right? So there's a lot going on. And the Subway sandwich guy, yeah, that's kind of weak. I'll give you that, except that he got a felony charge. Oh, and he lost his job because she fired him. He worked at the DOJ. She went in the next day, oh, you work for me? No, you don't. You're fired. So she did fire the guy and then charge him with a felony. So there is that, right? That's
about
good.
Time something happened to somebody.
Well, there you go. He should have gotten chips with that.
Thanks for taking my call.
Greatly appreciate it. Ronnie is in California. Ronnie, how are you today on the great West Coast?
We're doing pretty good today, Steve. Hey, I don't know if you remember, but a while ago I talked with you and Ivy about South Park and those aborted fetuses. That was like on 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was great to see Charlie Kirk making South Park. But my point is, I watched CNN and a couple other news places, and Gavin Newsom just bald-faced lie to everybody on TV. And I think we need to fight fire with fire, and it pays to advertise.
Let me take that up, Ronnie. I got to weigh in on this, Ronnie. Hold on. I got to weigh in, because here's Gavin Newsom on TV yesterday, bumping his gums, talking about how they've got to save democracy because Texas is going to redistrict their state. It could impact 5 seats. So, yeah, we have to fight fire with fire. Gavin Newsom has already blocked voter ID in California. Gavin Newsom has already codified mass mail-in ballots, the easiest way to cheat on elections. Gavin Newsom has already allowed counting to continue with no end in sight for these districts that are out in the rural country. California is still counting 6-7 weeks after everybody else is done with the election. Gavin Newsom has done everything to undermine the legitimacy of elections in California. And now he has the gall and the balls to stand there and say, oh, we've got to redistrict California to save democracy. My ass. Thank you for that.
But what I'm saying is we need to invest some money. And they took our radio station off the air. It was Charlie Kirk and everything, and they put on a sports channel. We need to spend some money and get some radio stations going, and maybe start a newspaper.
Here's the answer.
Spreading the truth a little bit more.
Here's the answer. And thank you for the call, Ronnie. Everybody pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. I'm told by people listening right now the best app is the YouTube app, because you can minimize it on your phone, you can listen to the program, you can travel with it wherever you go. There it is on YouTube, and apparently it's the best way to do it. So I encourage you, get on YouTube, put it on your phone, put it on your device, have it hooked to your car, whatever. And I've been being told this by people that do this every day. All right, let's go to South Carolina, the Palmetto State, where we find Albert patiently waiting. Albert?
Good morning.
How are you? Go.
Hello.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. This out in Aiken, South Carolina.
Yep.
72, retired respiratory therapist. Was a field medic in the National Guard. Are you still there?
Okay, enough. All right, we got to fix this up. Folks, you don't have to ask me if I can hear you, all right? I can hear you just fine. I don't know what's going on with the phones today, but I can hear you just fine. It's about ready to make my head explode, which will make great TV, and it'll be remarkably cool when it goes viral, my head exploding. And you'll see it right there on national TV. All right, let's try him again, but we'll go to Roland in New Hampshire. Roland, can you hear me? Can we do this? What's on your mind?
Hey, Steve.
There you are.
I'm calling you today about Washington, D.C. with all these kids looting people and everything. They need to start the boot camps again and put these kids in boot camps and straighten them out.
I don't disagree with that.
We need to get rid of TikTok because that's the craziness. It's going around putting things in people's heads, and it's ridiculous. They're doing crazy things, lighting fires and stuff. Get rid of TikTok, and you're going to have better country. I pray for you. I pray for the president. I like your show. I watch it every morning.
Thank you, Roland.
Thank you for taking my call. God bless you.
God bless you. Live free or die. Live free or die. All right, let's try Brian in Iowa. Brian, how are you today?
I'm good. But, I got a quick question.
All right.
All these people that got the shots, they're messed up from the shots, and they can't afford insurance like the women especially. Why doesn't our government get them insurance so they can get better like they gave the aliens? That's the first question.
All right.
Second question is, in Nevada and California, you cannot find a new will. My brother threw a will away, and the deathbed of my uncle, and he can't find a new one. That's another thing I don't like, and I don't know what to do about it.
He threw what away?
He threw my uncle's will. That was a new will. It threw him out of the house on his chair in his deathbed when he got there.
Gotcha.
I already knew what my uncle was going to do, but I never got a copy. He even admitted to me one time when he was drunk that he threw it away.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't find the new will. So he went back to the old will. He got to stay in his house instead of get thrown out and all that stuff. It's just, I've been looking everywhere, but you can't find it because they don't let you.
Yeah, if you can't find it, you're out of business. Greatly appreciate you being here. I think that it's
something about that. That's a good.
There's nothing you can do about it. Either you got it or you don't. You need to have one in place. You need to have one in the safe. All right, so here's the thing about what he said, though, the bigger point. How do you feel about that? The government forced you to get vaccinated. When Democrats were fine with a king telling you must get a shot or you can't go to work, you must get a shot or you can't go get gasoline, you must get a shot or you can't leave your house. Remember COVID when we had a King Joe? King Joe. If the government forced you to get a vaccine and you're now sick from it, I think there is an argument to be made there. All right, we got a lot to cover here today. We've got a friend of mine up next for a minute. And then I want you to come back for the phone calls, 877-310-9966. and talk about American ingenuity and technology and advancements and something that can benefit you as a consumer. My next guest has worked with his father for years to create a hybrid geothermal system made in America that uses the well in your yard. If you live out in the country, you have a well in your yard, and you heat with propane or heating oil or wood, this could save you a tremendous amount of money. It doesn't replace your furnace or your air conditioner, but boy, does it cuts the cost to a point that's remarkable. And there's some urgency here because the big, beautiful bill, as wonderful as it is, cuts some subsidies and some federal tax credits for these systems. The Well Connect system is remarkable. Joining me now, Tim Schultz from Well Connect. Tim, nice to see you back on the program. And we talked to people about this system because it's unlike anything out there. Your father invented this. He's an engineer from the University of Michigan. And years ago, you bought a property that had this well, and you said, man, how do we turn this into a viable energy source? And man, he did it. And so when you do geothermal now, you don't need that big pond in your backyard like people have had for years. No, you just need a well. And again, if you heat with propane or heating oil or even wood, it can save you a tremendous amount of money. So explain how this system works, if you would, sir, and thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, the project you reference is now 20 years ago that we took an old paper mill and turned it into a shipwreck museum up here on Thunder Bay in Alpena, Michigan. And still cruising along smoothly. But that idea of using an existing well is what my dad kept thinking about and said, you know, kind of applying the 80-20 rule. Why do we need to size a system for the few coldest days of the year? The home already has a furnace that works just fine for that. It's just expensive to operate. So we kind of, again, did the 80-20 rule, and we said, let's size a geothermal system that handles the needs of the home, both heating and cooling, for what it's like the vast majority of the time, and leave the furnace there just to help out in the coldest days. And by doing that, we really minimize the amount of water flow needed. We don't then also need the loop field of conventional geothermal. And the furnace is going to last longer, and the upfront cost primarily of this is dramatically less than conventional geothermal technology. So compare it to a conventional furnace in AC or the air source heat pumps, which are getting very, very popular. Our system is all about the same upfront cost, even before any incentives, and yet we're significantly more efficient because we're using energy from the ground.
Considerably more efficient. In fact, you put together a comparison I'd like to share with the folks. Yep. If you have a propane furnace, it's probably made in Mexico, and you're getting about 14 miles a gallon. We're going to put this into miles per gallon so people understand exactly how you would compare this. An air source heat pump comes from China. But the Well Connect is made in America, and you go from 14 to 24 to 40 miles per gallon. That's the efficiency comparison. Just so you have an idea, so we put it into something that people understand. Made in America, more than tripling, basically tripling what you get from Mexico, almost doubling out of China. I mean, it's a remarkable system. It's been around, like you said, for 20 years. It's in thousands of homes. People love it, and it can really change everything because what you're doing is you're only running your furnace in your house on the very coldest days of the year. The rest of the time, you have this ground source heat pump that moves the heat through your house. When you're using air conditioning, not only is it air conditioning your house almost for free, it's also dehumidifying your house. I mean, it's a remarkable system, Tim. That's why I sit here and brag about it on the program.
Yeah, and again, most people wait. I mean, 99% of people are waiting for their current system to die, the furnace, the AC unit, and then they have to do something either on the coldest days of the year or the hottest days of the summer. And so what we're trying to get people to look at is, look, upgrade your existing system now, and you're locking in for low heating and cooling costs for the next 20 plus years. And the savings that are generated literally pay for the system. So financially, it's a no-brainer. And again, we're saying don't wait until you have to do something. Do this now. Plan ahead. And again, I would suggest you go to look at our Google reviews. We have a 4.8 score right now. But our customers really, they read how many times you see the word love in the reviews.
No, I've seen it. I was telling you just before we came out, I had a guy that I know lives in northern Michigan call me and say, hey, I hear you talking about this. What do you really think? I said, people love it. That's what I really think. Because if we talk about something here on the program, people don't like it, Tim, they let me know. Trust me. They will send me notes and say, Gruber, what are you doing? I don't get that ever from Well Connect. And here's the other thing. The big, beautiful bill, the tax credit. There's a 30% federal tax credit for installing a Well Connect system. It expires at the end of the year. So you can save a 30% tax credit. That's important. But here's something else I found, and I want people to be aware of this. Great Lakes Energy is a co-op energy company in northern Michigan. Just one example. Right now, a ground source heat pump will get you a $2,000 rebate from the local energy company there. You said you've got rebates as high as $7,000 in places like New York. I mean, that's significant, Tim.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll do all the homework, or no matter where you live in the country, we can help you find those incentives. We designed this really for the handy rural homeowner. I mean, about 25% of our systems, the homeowners actually DIY install, and we have a contractor do the startup and inspection to make sure everything's good. By the way, there's a monitor on every system, so the homeowner and we are continuously monitoring things, making sure everything's running smoothly. It gives you a report on how much money you save, energy you saved, etc. But yeah, we'll do that research for you and find the best deal. But again, we built this to be affordable without all the incentives. We don't want to rely on those to have a successful.
No, it's a bonus. Right now, it's a big bonus. Take
so why not take advantage of it?
Yeah,
yep, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. No, the system will pay for itself, even if you finance it, because your energy costs will come down so far that even if you finance the system, you're money ahead day one. That's what he's always told me. I'd like you to go to wellconnectgeo.com to find out more. Talk to my good friend Tim Schultz and his team. Wellconnectgeo.com. If you're using propane, heating oil, wood, maybe natural gas, but they'd have to look at the system, and you want to take advantage of the government federal tax credit, or maybe your co-op in your area can give you some more rebates and so forth, you're going to save money either way. It's a time-tested system made in America. Made in America. Tim Schultz from WellConnect, thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
There you have it. WellConnectGeo.com. Check it out, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go, jumping right back into it. Now, the next caller, and I use that term loosely, has threatened to shut down the entire program unless I take their call for it. He's just going to pull the plug, and the whole world's going to go dark. Whoop. So, with that in mind, I go to... God help me. I go to Anthony in Michigan.
Hey, Steve, long-time listener, first-time caller. Can you hear me?
Oh, my God. I'm going to walk in that room and strangle you.
Hey,
right,
yeah.
What's up?
So I have a concern. I live in Lansing, Michigan, and I think that it's reflective of this issue is reflective of a broader problem. But I heard that they're spending like $1.5 million, the city is, on homeless pods, on pods for homeless people.
Well, what do you mean a pod?
Like they're building like these pods, like these small little sleeper pod things for homeless people.
So it's an improved version of the tent that they throw up in Tent City.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have a picture of this thing?
Not on me right now.
All right, we're going to find this homeless pod.
But I don't think that that's the way.
It's a disaster. No, it'll be a little reinforced shelter for the junkies to come on.
Yeah, and those are my tax dollars. I live in Lansing, so.
Yeah, well, trust me. When it comes to the way this works, we all pay for the cities. Those of us that live out here in the hinterlands pay for the cities. All right, Anthony, great call from the next room. We'll get into that. All right, also in Michigan, Timothy is in Michigan. Timothy, what's on your mind?
Hi, Steve. I thank you for taking my call. I watch you all the time.
Thank you.
Whenever I think of, I just got to give you praise. You're the next Rush Limbaugh man, and I watch you all the time. I love your show, and I just wanted to call in and just let you know that, and just continue to pray for us presidential electors. We go September 9th to Lansing.
All right.
And we expect everything to be dismissed.
Well, we hope it's going to be good.
I just want to thank you. And are you going to have, in any future, will you be having Kash Patel on your show?
Well, we're trying. Cash is a little harder to get. Thank you for the call, Timothy. He's harder to get, as you can imagine. He finally made an appearance on Hannity. He's difficult to get. He's been here before. We'll try again. More of your calls in just a few minutes. Ray, Ken, Don, Richard, Teddy, all of you straight ahead on the Steve Gruber Show. always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
It sure is, and it's a free speech, free-for-all Friday powered by Patriot Mobile's Common Sense Hotline. I'm just going to get to it because that's where I want to do today. Thank you for being here. Fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. It's what we do every single day. Who do you want in your foxhole when the chips are down? I think I want Donald Trump there. That's what I think I want. He's in Alaska today. First big summit between the United States and Russia in a long time. It's an important conversation to end the war in Ukraine, potentially have a discussion about nuclear weapons as well. Let's get to the phone lines. By the way, that Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline is 877-310-9966, uninterrupted for the next half an hour or so. Ray is in Virginia. He's been very patient. Ray, thank you for that, and welcome to the program. Ray, my friend.
The news.
There you are. Go ahead.
Yes. I don't think Hillary's got enough brains to come up with all this Russia stuff. I think that Bill helped her along. Besides, that would be a good way for Bill to get rid of her without getting a divorce.
I like your thinking, Ray.
There's something else I wanted to say.
Honey, I want you to try something.
I wanted to say.
I want to know that conversation. Honey, I want you to try something here. Just throw this Russia thing on the table. See how that works out. All right, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, look, I'm a UFO nut, and I watch all these shows that got lights in the sky, and they call them UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask, do you need high beams to travel sublight in space, light markers and turn signals?
Yeah, don't overdrive your headlights. You know the rules, Ray. Do not overdrive your headlights. So are they real or not? Do
Yes,
UFOs
they're traveling at light speed.
Yeah. Real or not?
Yes, they're traveling at light speed. Your headlights don't work.
That's right. Ray, greatly appreciate you. Ray's been into the coffee, maybe the emotional support bourbon. That's what we have. We like dogs, but we have an emotional support bourbon here. All right, Ken is in Michigan here with me. Ken, where are you? What's going on?
Well, I thought I'd just share with you something that's uplifting. I thought I'd give you a climate report.
All right.
Now, I went out yesterday and I checked on some apple trees that I happen to have, Granny Smith and Macintosh.
All right.
And I'm happy to report that my apples are doing just fine. They taste fine. They're the right size for this time of year. And so, Steve, I still recommend that people keep firing up their barbecue grills and grill those beautiful, juicy steaks.
Ribeye.
Keep driving your keep driving your gas-powered automobiles.
Yeah.
And keep having a good time, Steve.
I
keep having
appreciate
a
that,
good
Ken.
time.
Where are you located in Michigan in this great state of mine?
Oh, I'm in Livonia, Michigan.
There you
I
go.
love the weather down here. It's just been perfect.
I greatly appreciate that, Ken. Thank you for the call. All right, so here's the thing. I got a crabapple tree in the side yard here. Crabapples are dropping now. And what happens is every day you get up to start moving around, getting ready, and there are the deer. I just had a mom and two fawns just trotted through the side yard here between hours of the program. All right, dumbest thing I've got Don, Richard, Teddy. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to you in just a moment. But I want you guys to hear the dumbest two contestants this week for the dumbest thing I've heard all week. The first one, this is where we got the idea of emotional support bourbon. This woman here seems to be having a difficult day. I'm going to guess she's not a Trump voter. Just going to go out on a limb. Say this is not a person that voted for Donald Trump. Just a guess. You tell me. Listen in.
I know it's really dumb, but I just went to 2 different Starbucks.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you today?
Hi there. Do you guys have the summer berry still?
We don't. I'm sorry, queen.
I'm just desperate to find it.
Yeah, everyone is supposed to technically be out of it by now.
And I just had the worst day. I really want my emotional support drink. I got laid off a month ago, but they gave me 30 days notice so that I could keep working, which I really appreciated because I needed the income. But my last day is on Friday, and I'm having to go to work every day this week at a job that I'm already laid off from. I worked at this place for 5 years. It's just a small thing, but I was just gonna comfort myself tonight. I don't drink.
Well,
I'm
you
sober,
should.
so I don't, I don't go to the bar when I don't feel good.
Well, you should.
I go to Starbucks.
No.
And it just feels like we should get some warning when something's gonna be disappearing.
Yeah, like your common sense and your brain. Yeah. By the way, I do believe the local bar is cheaper than Starbucks. Just throwing it out there. Her emotional support drink was taken. So sorry. Had a moment there. I broke down. I really apologize. I just get emotional. My emotional support drink is unavailable. And that is the way I feel on Friday nights. If my emotional support bourbon is taken away from me, I just burst into tears like that lady there. All right, let's go to, and that is the dumbest thing I've heard all week. Contestant number 1, keep your voting cards to yourself for now. Don is in Florida on this free-for-all Friday. Don, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am lovely. What is on your mind today, sir?
Well, I wanted to offer some clarity on the federal grand jury. People don't understand, but I do very well. Do you remember Jimmy Hoffa?
Were you a prosecutor or a defendant, Don? I mean, just want to know where you are on this.
I've served on the federal grand jury for Jack Aloni, who was involved in the Hoffa thing.
Oh yeah. All right. So you're part of it. All right. Tell us how it works.
Okay. When you're selected, you go into the federal building. You are searched and everything else. So it's a clean deal. You go in 21 people. You're in an enclosed room. You have a federal judge. You have a federal prosecuting attorney and a witness. That's it. No one in there. No one's allowed in. You can't discuss anything outside of that room. You're interviewed strictly by the prosecuting attorney. There's no defense anybody in there.
Right. No
so
lawyers.
When you get nope. And when you get strict instructions from the federal judge, and then when you deliberate as a group, 21 people, you weigh the evidence to see if they are eligible to be put to trial based upon the evidence that is presented to you.
So then
when you
deliver either, this is what it's
foreman,
called. Hold on. It's called either a true bill of indictment or no bill. That's how a grand jury works. Either a true bill of indictment or no bill, right? That's it.
True.
Go ahead.
Exactly. So if you all vote true, then it goes to the prosecuting attorney. He goes to the judge, and then the prosecuting attorney gets a warrant for your arrest, and you're screwed.
And you're screwed.
Because you've basically been tried behind closed doors.
And by the way, people
been weighed out. So
yeah, most people don't realize this. Don, great call. Really appreciate you walking people through that. I should have done that myself, but I appreciate you doing it. The other thing is this: you do have, if you're a defendant in a case and they call a grand jury to decide whether you're going to court, you do have the right to testify in front of a grand jury. But everything you say there is on the record as well. We'll take a break. I've got more calls, Richard, Teddy, and I've got another dumbest thing of the week to share for you. All right, it's coming. Man, this thing we do every Friday, Free Speech, Free for All Friday, in the spirit of Rush Limbaugh. That's why we do it. In the spirit of Rush Limbaugh. Because, look, without him, we wouldn't be here, and so we do Free Speech, Free for All Friday. We allow you to come in, any comment, any topic, keep it clean. That's all I ask. Richard is in Oklahoma, great state. Richard, how are you? What's on your mind?
Yeah, how you doing, Steve? I barely can hear you.
Well, go ahead and speak, because I can hear you clear as a bell.
Okay. I thank you for taking my call, by the way, and good morning. I'd like to see voting rights for Americans, not illegals. Voter ID, one-day voting, and also I'd like to see another census with no illegals on it. And that'd probably take away about a third of the Democrats' voting base.
A lot of truth to that. Look, voter ID is, and that's why it's funny to hear Newsom talk about, democracy. They have no voter ID in California. Mass mail-in ballots are fine. The ballots can come in a week after the election's over. They can count them. There's no end period of how long they can count the ballots. They've completely undermined any integrity of the elections in California. And I'm out there fighting to redistrict California for democracy. Oh, please. Newsom is a joke. He's a communist and a joke, and it's embarrassing. And Richard, I greatly appreciate. I agree with everything you said, because it's important. I wrote 15 years ago about how California was stealing seats in Congress because they have all these illegals they count. 750,000 people per member of Congress, roughly, and California has millions of illegals, and they count them, and therefore they get all this representation they don't deserve. Richard, great phone call. Teddy is in West Virginia. Teddy, how are you today?
Pretty good. Woke up.
Good. What's on your mind?
The DEI, Steve.
Yep.
The DEI that they're always griping about. Well, why ain't they wanting that into their districting?
What do you mean by that?
Out there, they want they want like all black sections. They don't want DEI in that.
Well, they don't want, because they don't actually want diversity. They want power and money. There's a difference.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's
what I'm saying. They scream for it, but yet when it comes to something, make them put them in there. Make them DEI it up. That's what that state wants.
Yeah, well, except they don't really. They say that because they're powered by victimhood.
Yes.
You're exactly right, Teddy. Exactly right. Thank you for checking in. Remember, you can check in, too. It's Free for All Friday. Happens every week. Powered by Patriot Mobile and the Common Sense Hotline. If you join Patriot Mobile today, you're going to get a free month. And you're going to be glad you did. I was showing you the stuff from the flooding in Texas, the Guadalupe River, and the chainsaws and the supplies sent in by Patriot Mobile. They don't just sit there and talk about it. They get involved. They roll up their sleeves. They use part of the money you pay for your monthly service to support America. God bless them. All right, Sue is in Pennsylvania today. Sue, how are you?
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
You're a guy who had the question about the will.
Yeah.
Time to go back to the lawyer and see if that person's kept a copy of it. I've done 3 estates. I've been down this road. Time to check that out.
Go to the lawyer that drew it up. All right, fair point.
Do you think we can get Nancy and Hillary to be cellmates? That way Nancy can have her support ice cream and Hillary can have her support booze.
Maybe. Her support bourbon. Yeah, I get it.
And as for your bourbon, I want to know, you drinking Knob Creek or Old Weller?
Old Yeller? What'd you say? Weller. I like Weller. 12-year-old.
Weller.
12-year-old Weller.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Can you get it? Because it was hard to get for a while because the employees kept stealing it.
Oh, it's hard to get. Yeah, that and
Yes.
Pappy Van Winkle. The employees were stealing that out the side door. You saw that documentary. Yeah, stealing booze and getting rich. Sue, thank you for the call. Good stuff. We are going to, I don't know how it works, but I am legitimately looking into creating a bourbon that is my emotional support bourbon. I don't know how you sell it or how you distribute it because the laws are funny, but we're going to look into it. Wouldn't you like to, do that? All right. So Let's see. Jim is in Alaska. Jim is at the center of the universe today. John, excuse me. John, I can't even read my own handwriting here. John, I apologize. In Alaska today. John, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Steve. I like to listen to you early in the morning whenever I can get up early enough. It's 2 o'clock in the morning when you come on, and it's about 3 o'clock now or go after.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I kind of live at ground zero here. I was about a mile and a half from that hangar that the boys are going to meet in here shortly.
You're right there in Anchorage. Where are you? Anchorage, North Pole?
You mentioned Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned Rush Limbaugh, and I was thinking about one of his slogans, and then I was thinking of Newsom down in California. And you remember the slogan, phony baloney, plastic banana, good time rock and roll?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, well, every time I see some of these characters come across the stage here of history, that's what I'm thinking. You know, good old Rush. He pinpointed it pretty close.
He did, and look,
first time I thought of it.
He opened the door for all of us. He did. He made it possible. I remember the first time I heard him. I was living and working in Bozeman, Montana. First time I heard Rush Limbaugh, and I said, and I was at a radio station working, and I said to the guy there, I said, "Who's that?" And there were two guys standing there. It's Rush Limbaugh. I hate him. And the other guy goes, I love him. And that's the way Rush he divided the world into people that believed in this country and those that didn't, as far as I'm concerned. John, right there, hope this summit goes well. Good for Alaska for being the center of the universe today. And thank you for the phone call. Pat, I'm still going to get to you from the beautiful city of Kalamazoo, so don't go anywhere. I've got others, 877-310-9966, 877-310-9966. Free speech. Free for all Friday, powered by Patriot Mobile. Remember, sign up today, patriotmobile.com, promo code Gruber. Get a free month of service right now. What are you waiting for? What are you looking at me for? Go on. I appreciate this revolution that we've built here in the Gruber Nation. I do. And I appreciate all the kind words. Look, we work our tails off here. We're a small team. I heard Megyn, maybe you heard this, Anthony. I heard Megyn Kelly talking the other day. She has 6 producers. 6. And God bless her. She does great work. Don't get me wrong. I wish I had 6 producers. I'd go toe-to-toe with her if I had that kind of producer power. We don't have that many producers here. Anyhow. Who's next here? Is it Pat in Kalamazoo? Is that who's up next here on Free for All Friday?
Correct.
Pat, how are you?
Good, Steve. Thanks for taking my call. In reference to the homeless pods that Lansing's buying, they're getting them from Kalamazoo. The city fathers here couldn't find anyone who wanted them to take them into their neighborhood, so they decided that they were going to sell them.
So how many are there?
I don't remember. It was
50.
a while ago that I saw it on the WWMT website. So you could check on that website.
So I'm going to. So Anthony just said there's 50 of them. Anthony just said there's 50 of these pods. Who wants a pod cluster or whatever you'd call it? Nobody wants that. I mean, these people don't have jobs.
No.
They don't have anything. So, I mean, yes, we need to take care of folks, but we don't build. Look, This is like Cabrini Green in Chicago. A public housing like this fails. And like this, I just can't see anything good coming from this. I just can't. But thanks for the call, Pat. I mean, you guys...
Yeah, they're like 6 by 8 and have one window in the door, and that's it. It's a place to sleep.
Right. And what's going to go on in there? I mean, honestly,
exactly.
what's going to go on? And how is that going to improve property values? Is that going to help out your neighborhood? And for the guy in Lansing, what is his name here?
Shore.
Not Andy Shore, but the guy, the housing guy, right? Who was in the article. I'm going to pull it back up here. This guy, what is his name? Anyhow, the reason I ask is Joe McDonald is his name. Is Joe going to put these pods in his neighborhood? Hell no. No, he'll put them in your neighborhood. Good grief. Yeah, go put them in White Hills. I'll take a break and be back on Free Speech Free for All Friday. Cindy, JT, sit tight. I'll get to you. All right, I want to thank Anthony, by the way, sitting right in the control room here, for bringing this to my attention. These pods, 6 by 8, I think they are. There's 50 of them, and then I get a call from Pat here on Free for All Friday from Kalamazoo. Said, yeah, they were here. We didn't want them, so we're sending them to Lansing. These pods, unused. So you're going to set up 50 of these pods in a park, Stabenow Park, apparently, which kind of seems appropriate. that, a left-wing senator's namesake park would get filled with homeless people from failed policies, right? That would have to make sense. But who wants this in their neighborhood? I mean, yeah, a homeless shelter, I get it. There's been one in downtown Lansing for my entire life. And they do a fine job, by the way, not too far from the ballpark there. But I'm going to bring in Congressman Tim Walberg. He's here in Michigan in District this week. Tim, nice to have you. But we were talking about this in the break. This doesn't end well. These kind of utopian, we're going to feel good, and we're going to put these little homes here, and there are going to be 2 beds in each one. These people don't have jobs. They have addictions. They have mental health issues. We're going to give them these little hard-shelled things to live in. I mean, this does not go well. It never does. This is never a good path, is it?
No, it isn't. It hasn't worked anywhere. And you think of these pods as you see advertisements for things like this to store your excess materials, or if you're leaving town, you put it in, and truck comes, picks it up, and moves it away. And I think that's what will take place ultimately with this attempt in a Lansing park. Ultimately, it's not going to work. And in many cases, these people don't want to even be in that type of setting as well. So these are the liberal, progressive, so-called do-gooders that aren't necessarily doing the things that help people in the end.
Let me guarantee you this. They won't have it in their neighborhood, but they'll want it in your neighborhood. And if you don't want it in your neighborhood, it's because you're racist and you're a bad person, and they will wag their finger at you. I mean, it's such nonsense. Here's the thing. We need to clean up mental health in America. There's no question about that. We need to clean up the streets of America. No question about that. And that's why, it's funny. I keep going back to Kira Phillips. She's a news anchor on ABC's affiliate there in Washington, D.C. You've probably seen her. She used to be on CNN a number of years ago. And she came out, I think it was Monday this week, and said, look, you guys can tell us about how crime's going down. I got jumped 2 blocks from the station here. We had a shooting 2 blocks from the station where 2 people got shot. 1 was murdered here just recently. And she said this morning, one of our coworkers had their car stolen right in front of her. I mean, so to say that, the crime is fine in Washington, D.C., no, it's not. And it's not fine in Philadelphia. It's not fine in New Orleans. There are a lot of problems with crime in this country. And Donald Trump's doing the right thing. And if you ask the people there, you live there basically half the time. It can be safe, but you got to be careful. You got to look around. You don't just go walking down a random street at midnight, do you?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even around the Capitol at night, with Capitol Police doing a great job there, you have to be watchful. There are other parts of the city, over toward the ballpark, of course, beyond the White House on the north side. You really don't want to walk there. I don't want to drive my car there for fear of a carjacking. A good friend of mine, a Democrat from Texas, Henry Cuellar, had his car carjacked at gunpoint. I think he has a different impression of what's going on in the city. Angie Craig, who's running now for governor of Minnesota, or of Wisconsin, she was assaulted in an elevator going up to her apartment. Fortunately, she fought back and got out of the elevator. But these people, Democrats, know what's going on as well. And it's strange to hear the leadership of Democrats right now, Schumer and others, decrying what the president is doing. Why would you say anything's wrong about cleaning up a city and making it safe? And if you've noticed, Steve, and you probably have, that the demonstrators primarily are white faces. And most of them probably don't live in the city and have been paid to come in. It's not the African American that is demonstrating there. Those community members, and I think of the mothers who want freedom in education, for choice in education of DC schools, they don't want this going on. And I think they're probably extremely appreciative of what the president is doing.
Yeah, I agree. And I've heard there was another young reporter on CNN, and the guy comes out and goes, look, we live here. We're looking over our shoulder all the time. And this on CNN, you can't deny it. Look, government, the one function of government, as far as I'm concerned, the one thing above everything else, whether it's local government, county government, state, federal, whatever, is to keep the citizens safe. That's the number one charge of a government, is to keep the citizens safe, whether it's with police or military or whatever it may be. Isn't that the number one thing that government is supposed to do for its citizens?
Absolutely. We are to punish the lawbreaker and support the law abider. And that's important. And this city, D.C., is the entire nation's city. And in the Constitution, Congress and the president have the authority over that city. So what he's doing is appropriate. But he is giving example for other cities. And I think you have noticed as well as I that the cities that are having the problems are generally led by Democrat leadership. It's giving them an example that if we can do it in D.C., that has a worse homicide rate than New York City, it can be done anywhere if you're willing to do it.
8 of the 10 most violent cities in America, of larger cities, led by Democrats. Not all of them, 8 out of 10. I thought it was 10 for 10. I was wrong. Little Rock and Memphis make the list with new Republican leadership. Haven't had Republican leadership in a while, but they apparently end up on the list. But you look at Miami. I think Miami had 23 murders in all of last year. Think about that. 23 for the whole year. I think 23 is probably what D.C. had in a month, right?
It's just total turnaround when you have leadership, and Miami has a Republican mayor.
They do.
And is leading the way. And I think that's why cities like that have even turned to voting for Donald Trump.
All right.
And leadership matters.
Yeah, let me ask you about this. You and I have had a difference of opinion about how to pursue the Ukraine-Russia war over the last couple of years, which is fine. But I think we can agree today that maybe we can find peace. I think that my opinion about how the war was going to end has not changed. I believe that, well, I don't think the Crimean Peninsula, Crimea is going back. I think Russia's had it since 2012. They're not giving that back. I don't think they're giving the Donbass back. And I think that there are going to be some hard choices to be made in order for this war to come to an end. But I'm hopeful today on this summit. What are your thoughts?
I'm hopeful as well. I'm not going to curse the project at all. I'm glad that the president has engaged here. I'm delighted that he's got Europe to buy the implements of war from us to give to Ukraine. I'm glad that Zelensky is still saying we don't want any foreign blood shed in our defense capabilities, but we do need help. And so I think this is a great step. I think Putin is, trying to chart the course to save face a bit. But I do believe that what the president has done with sanctions, with tariff issues put on countries that would buy oil from Russia, and further threats of what could take place if Putin is incorrigible on this. I think in the end, it's not going to happen today.
No.
As the president says, this will be the start of the second meeting that hopefully.
Congressman, always appreciate it. We're hopeful. We'll see what comes out of this. Maybe even a discussion about limiting nuclear weapons. That's been thrown out there as a possibility by Putin himself. He said that yesterday. Anyhow, Congressman, thank you as always.
Have a beautiful, pure Michigan weekend.
Amen to that. Congressman Tim Walberg. We'll be right back.
okay, how's this going to work?
All right, back to it. You're going to have to find me evidence of that. I think that number is not accurate. Anthony, we're talking about BlackRock gobbling up homes, which they do in certain areas, BlackRock, State Street, all these big holding companies. And the reason being is we've talked about this for a while. My belief is pretty simple. They think that at some time here, the government's going to come along and pay the rent. Section 8 type stuff, right? So if you're a big holding company and you've got, 100,000 homes around the country, you've got them in Atlanta and you've got them in Tampa and wherever you might have them, and you've got a guaranteed check from the taxpayers, it's a pretty good business plan. Anthony thinks that half of the homes in Michigan are corporate owned. That's simply not true. I don't believe that. You'll have to give me some evidence on that.
At least like rented out homes.
Could be rented potentially. Anyhow, Free Speech, Free for All Friday continues. We're talking about these pod things. They're trying to put these pods apparently in Lansing, 50 of them, that each hold 2 people for homeless folks. There's no way that goes well. It does not go well. Let's go to Cindy in Pennsylvania. This will go well. Cindy, welcome to Free Speech, Free for All Friday.
How do you do, Steve? So happy to talk to you. You are the best morning news reporter there is.
Thank
I've been
you.
listening to you for a while. WJIM was where I kind of first started listening to you. My points are Tina Peters in Colorado would love to see the federal government get involved in getting her out. The federal elected officials we have, I think they need to be held to a higher standard, and the statute of limitations on their crimes should not be limited. And then just on a side note, and I'll say these 3 things and hang up and listen to you. Birthright citizenship. Look forward to that case coming about. I support the Convention of States, and I think radical Islam needs to be designated a terrorist organization.
I agree with that. There's a movement to make the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, which would be accurate because that's what it is. And that movement is actually underway, so you might see that happening. Great call, Cindy. I appreciate it. So I think you said something there I want to focus on. I think it's a really unique and potentially great idea. If you're an elected official, you're a member of Congress, and we can make it for federal. You're a member of Congress, you're a United States Senator, you're the president, you're the vice president, whatever. Obviously you have presidential immunity, so maybe it doesn't apply there. But let's go to the Senate and the House. If you commit crimes knowingly, like leaking classified information to undermine your political enemies, or leaking classified information to the New York Times, there should be no statute of limitations. I like what she said there. If it's found 25 years later that you played these dirty tricks to get ahead and now you've advanced your career by doing unethical, illegal things, there should be no statute of limitations. None. Right now it's 10 years. Leaking classified information, for example, is a 5-year statute of limitations unless it's done intentionally, at which point it becomes 10 years. I don't think there should be a limit. If you're subverting the United States government, undermining us, then you should be held accountable on infinitum forever. Great call, Cindy. Let's go to JT in Florida. JT, how are you today?
Very good. Hope you're doing well.
Doing well. What's on your mind?
My concern is MAGA needs an attitude adjustment. We, the people, need to be active. Folks whine about rhinos when, in fact, they're uniparty Bush Republicans. Republicans haven't changed. MAGA needs to be positive and get MAGA candidates elected. And the time is now to get started.
Well, and that's
Our
true.
president needs support.
However, let me counsel you on this a little bit, JT. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, what do you think of her?
I promise to not be obscene.
Well, okay, but here, and I understand your point of view. Here's the problem, JT. If she leaves, you get a Democrat, which is not a better position to be in. For example, Mike Rogers lost in Michigan because a lot of grassroots Trump people didn't like him because they thought he was an ever-Trumper. He lost by 0.3%, okay? Now we have Alyssa Slotkin, is our U.S. Senator from Michigan, who is openly endorsing Mamdani, a communist in New York City, for example. So, and I do appreciate your point, JT, I do. But be careful what you wish for, because if you only want MAGA candidates, you're going to lose some people that are kind of middle of the road, but are better than the alternative. And that's true.
I agree that we can't have majorities if we don't get, I'll call it a Republican, elected in many locales. But again, we've got to be active.
Well, that part's true.
We won a battle in November. We haven't won the war by any means, and people are sitting back whining. Not
so true, JT.
Off
One last bit of advice and I agree with you. One last bit of advice. If you're an only Trump voter, you're a problem. You've got to get off your ass, get off the couch, and vote in the midterms, because if you only vote when Trump's on the ballot, that's a problem. JT, thank you for the phone call. Good stuff. Really appreciate it. I want to get to James in Indiana before the clock runs out. James, how are you today?
Oh, pretty good, Steve. I hope you and the family are doing great.
We are. What's on your mind?
The thing I guess I've been thinking about, I used to consider myself a Democrat up until about 2017, and a funny thing happened. I retired, and then I started watching some of the Russiagate stuff with Trump and stuff, and the more I saw the Democrats, and their questions and stuff, and I started thinking, I got to figure out what's going on here, and I started researching, and that's when I found RAV.
Sure.
But I guess that's another thing. But my thing is with Zelensky and the Ukraine war, it would kind of make me wonder what was his net worth before the war and what is it now. Because I got a feeling, as crooked as Ukraine is, he's just lining his pockets as much as he can. He don't want that war to end.
Well, there's a lot of people don't want that war to end because they're making money off it.
Yep.
It's a terrible damn thing. It's a terrible damn thing, James. 5,000 people a week dying, and for what? 20,000 a month or more, and for what? The war has not changed fundamentally since it began in February of 2022. I said it then, and I'll say it again. Crimea is not going to go back to Ukraine. The Donbass and the eastern edge of Ukraine are not going back. It's Russian territory now, and it always will be, or there will be no peace. We'll be back after this. What happened? All right, time to check in on sports with Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. 7 games in Major League Baseball yesterday. Among the winners were Baltimore, Cleveland, Washington, and Atlanta. At the PGA Tour's second playoff tournament of the FedEx Cup playoffs, it's the BMW Championship in suburban Baltimore. Scotland's Robert McIntyre shot an 8-under par 62 to take the first-round lead. He's 3 shots ahead of Tommy Fleetwood and 4 shots ahead of world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. Round 2 is today at Caves Valley Golf Club. Multiple media outlets reported yesterday that the NCAA will finally rule on the Michigan football sign stealing scandal that has been in the news for nearly 2 years now. The NCAA has charged Michigan with 11 violations related to the case. The NCAA is expected to hold an afternoon press conference where they will announce potential punishment. No games in the WNBA last night, but there are 5 games in the league this evening. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock, thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see, coming up in the next hour, Steve Dulan will be here, the greatest lawyer of all time, best-looking son of a gun, too. Let's see here. We've got Kevin Kajooki. He's an attorney in Birmingham, lovely town. Wants to be the Michigan Attorney General, but I've got to ask him about this position he took recently that I just disagree with him on. And we'll get to that. So first and foremost, we'll take a break. Ivy will be here the next hour as well. You don't want to miss any of it. And then I'm going to be on a couple of podcasts today. Tim Young, Tim Runs His Mouth, Sean French, founder and host of the Determined Society. I'll tell you where you can find those coming up in the weeks to come as well. So great stuff there. This part of the program brought to you by Block Trust IRA. Block Trust is a place where you can get involved with crypto and not be left behind. Look, crypto is something that I've never quite understood, but it continues to be the rage. Bitcoin is at $120,000. Just think if you'd bought that at $1,000 a coin, it's now $120,000 a coin. You'd feel a little bit different about it. Anyhow, easy for you to find out about Block Trust IRA, the #1 platform according to Bitcoin Magazine. If you go there and get involved, you could get $2,500 in free crypto today. Go to SteveGruberCrypto.com. Find out more. SteveGruberCrypto.com. Find out more. I'll be right back. There's always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
All right, welcome to it on the Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Man, we've had calls from all over today. Really appreciate your interaction. I do. It restores my faith. Sometimes I feel like I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and maybe sometimes I am. It's not important now. I'm seeking professional help for that. Who do you want in your foxhole? You know, it's a good question, right? Who do you want standing there fighting for you every single day? I do my best. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, an appeals court has reversed the lower court's order allows President Trump to cut billions in foreign aid payments. So that's big news, right? That's an important thing that has happened. Number two, Attorney General Pam Bondi has stripped power from the D.C. police chief, rescinding sanctuary city protections in a crime crackdown operation, and so much more. You got that going on. And number three, let's talk about this. Let's talk. And by the way, you can call anytime on the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. Brock says he has immediate seating. We're going to go to bites 2 and 4 here, Anthony, because I want to explore. I want to explore this deal in D.C. because even Democrats are being forced to tell the truth about this. And Donald Trump's approach to crime is far preferred over what Joe Biden did. Let's start with Joe Scarborough, bombing the Democrats' narrative about crime in D.C. Joe Scarborough, MSNBC. Wow, listen to what he says.
The answer to this problem for Democrats is not, oh, everything's okay, there's nothing to see here, move along, move along. Oh, Washington has dropped 24% or whatever in crime. Well, let me give you some other numbers. The Washington Post took a poll at late April, early May. 91% of Washington residents say crime is a problem. 91%. 51%, it is an extremely serious problem. And John Heilman, we've had people before put this in racial terms. And this is what I must say, this is one thing that I think Democrats have gotten so wrong about crime. So wrong about crime. Let me just read the Washington Post here. There are stark divides among lines of race and income in the poll, with black residents and lower income residents significantly more worried about crime than white residents and those with higher incomes. As they were last year, black women are among the most concerned, with 65% saying crime is a very or extremely serious issue, compared with 82% who said the same thing last year.
So there you go, 90%, there it is. Joe Scarborough, forced to tell the truth. How about this? How about a CNN reporter, right? A young reporter, lives in D.C., comes on CNN and is asked about crime, talks about crime, and has this to say.
I walk by this train station every single day on my way to work, and I have not seen it like this. You can see a National Guard Humvee behind me, and we've seen, I don't know, Josh, if you can pan over, there are a couple National Guardsmen who are walking across the street over there. We have Humvees basically at each corner of the train station here on a fairly busy Thursday afternoon. And this is what you can expect here in the coming days. Let's pan over there. You can see another Humvee there. This is what you can expect over the next 30 days and possibly a lot longer after that, Jess, because we know just yesterday President Trump said that they are planning to indefinitely extend their federalization of MPD and really ramp up federal law enforcement resources here in the district. It's not just National Guard. We have also seen Homeland Security officers, DEA officers, Park Police. There were vehicles here just a little bit earlier. this is one of the areas of focus that we have heard a lot of concerns about, crime around Union Station, people who are loitering outside. I will tell you, as somebody who walks this route all the time, it does seem like there are fewer people just sort of hanging around.
Oh, you mean it's working? Oh, son of a gun. It's working. I almost said something else there. Less loitering, less drugs. Less drugs, less crime. Less crime, better place. Boom, 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 boom. Pretty simple stuff, isn't it? Pretty simple stuff. All right, so how about a lifelong D.C. resident? Let's talk to you, ma'am. What do you do? Are you from around here? What do you think? Donald Trump's being called a tyrant and a dictator. You know, you'd think that he had told people they have to get a vaccination or they can't go to school or work or, you know, something like a real tyrant would do. Lifelong resident. How about this?
Is it safe to live in D.C.? Do you agree with President Trump federalizing for 30 days to sort of stamp down on crime? What are your thoughts?
I agree with it. I was born and raised in the district, and I've never seen the things that I see today with children as young as 3 years old being shot. I mean, where does that happen? I think it's a bad idea to fear what this president is doing. I mean, he actually lives in the city now. I mean, come on. He would be foolish, I think, to ignore things like that. A child, 3 years old, being shot, or people being shot on the bus.
Yeah, being shot on the bus. All right, we got a caller here on the Common Sense Hotline after we get all through it, because I think it's important. Anyhow, Mark checking in on the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline from the great state of Ohio. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. This is Mark from the chat room on YouTube.
Nice
Calling
to see
in.
you, Mark, from the chat room.
Things.
Where are you in Ohio?
I'm down in Bloomingburg, Ohio, and we have a bunch of illegals down here. Isn't that nice?
Where's Bloomingburg? Give me an idea.
Springfield.
Okay, I got you. So you're basically you're getting the slop. You're getting the runoff from Springfield.
Well, yeah, Sherrod Brown filled us up pretty good. They're everywhere.
He's running for Senate again. He's running for Senate again. I hope you don't vote for him anyhow. Anyhow, what's on your mind, Mark? Go ahead.
There's not a chance that would happen.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I'm really glad that Trump's cleaning up D.C. That's a wonderful thing. I can't believe people are talking against it. People are just crazy out there. And also, I want to know why Biden gets to keep all his China money. And that's all I have to say.
Mark, greatly appreciate it. Hey, before you go, Mark, are you still there? Before you go.
Yes, sir.
Tell people how good the YouTube feed is.
Oh, I do all the time. You're the next Rush Limbaugh, my man.
Thank you, my friend. YouTube. Apparently, people really like the app. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. The app is great. People are saying that's the smoothest, best place to catch the program every day. So if you're looking for a better spot for a better feed and you want to see the video every day because you want to look at this right here, this, yeah, that right there. YouTube, the Steve Gruber Show. Check it out. I'll be back with the best-looking lawyer of all time, Steve Dulan. All right, here we go. We're digging back in. All right, look, I got the best looking, smartest lawyer of all time. And he comes every week. I don't know why, but he graces us every week with his wisdom. He's sage wisdom. Dulan, Steve Dulan, there he is. Dulan, everybody, there he is. Yeah.
Gruber, yeah, right. As you said before the break, I came to see that.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right. So I want to ask. I learned yesterday from my good friend John Solomon. Not only is the idea of a grand jury moving forward for the federal strike force, in fact, there are several grand juries already seated and working. Now, they're not indicting grand juries. I don't know what that means exactly. But apparently there's at least one in Pennsylvania, one in New York, one in New Jersey, and potentially elsewhere. But those are the three that he mentioned to me. Right. So you've got grand juries that are already hearing about, I would assume, Adam Schiff, John Brennan, James Clapper, Andy McCabe, whatever. They're hearing all of this, but they're not indicting grand juries. So I had a caller earlier say you get, the way grand juries work, there are 21 jurors, one judge, one prosecutor. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, the grand jury is literally more people than a petit jury, which is a sort of mispronunciation of the French word petite that got bastardized into English, which is the jury we use for trial, which is either 6 or 12 people.
You know why that is, though? We didn't care for the French, so we said, let's say it that way. So,
exactly.
Go
say
on.
it the way we want. We're the English, right? That's
exactly. We'll say it how we want, anyhow.
Yeah.
So
the number, yeah, you're right on the numbers, yeah.
So you're 21, one prosecutor, one federal judge. That's it. No attorneys. Now, if you were being targeted by a grand jury for criminal behavior or alleged criminal behavior, you do have the right to testify in there. But just like any other criminal case, most attorneys would say don't do that, because once you do that, it's on the record permanently, and whatever you say can be repeated in a court of law to your detriment. But what I'm getting at here, what is a non-indicting grand jury? What do they do? Do they just filter out the, what's right and what's wrong, and then they hand it to somebody else who would issue indictments? I'm confused about this part.
Yeah, it means the final decision doesn't lie with this body. Right, exactly right. So
why would you use two? Why wouldn't you just have one that does the whole thing?
Well, it's more investigatory, right?
Right.
So you can go on the so-called fishing expedition is the word they love to use in the TV courtroom dramas, right? Fishing expedition. They can go on more of a fishing expedition at this level, essentially.
With a trawler. All right.
Yeah.
So when you hear that there's at least, and we're aware of at least three, John Solomon has spoken to people that are involved with at least three separate non-indicting grand juries right now. This is a serious thing. I mean, this is serious, right?
Yeah, it means that there's enough there for professionals to spend their time, make decisions that in the U.S. Attorney's Office to make decisions about convening a grand jury, and got a court to go along with it and impanel a grand jury and start asking serious questions under oath. So it's one step beyond mere suspicion. It doesn't necessarily mean indictments will result, though that's generally the pattern. But it definitely means that the process is being taken seriously. And if nothing else, at the very least, there will be a ton, probably literally a ton of evidence, if you printed it out, generated.
Yeah. And so my understanding is, and the old saying is, a good prosecutor could indict a ham sandwich. I mean, that's the old saying. So if it goes in front, if this goes in front of a grand jury, I can't tell you people are going to be convicted, but I can tell you this: indictments are coming. If you've got three grand juries seated, I don't care if they're in New York, New Jersey. I don't care if they're in D.C.
Yeah, that's where
some indictments.
That's where the smart money is. Once the process begins, is that somebody's going to get indicted. Yeah.
And so, okay, see, we know the big names. We know the Brennans and the Clappers and the Hillarys and so on and so forth. I'm not worried about those folks. Some people estimate there are as many as 1,500 people down through the chain of command, if you will, in the labyrinth of, support staff, secretaries, aides, whatever. Some of these people have families. Some of these people don't care to go to jail for whatever Adam Schiff did. Some of these people are going to say, you know what? What do you want to know? Here it is. And I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Just leave me out of it. That's what's going to happen, Dulan. And these people are going to fill in the blanks, aren't they?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's that way anytime. There's a sort of developing area of social science on specifically how psychopaths take and maintain control. Psychopaths and sociopaths, and they're the people who support that pyramid of power always include that sort of middle level of true believers, but at the base level of any pyramid of psychopathy in power, there's always a group of people who are literally just complying because it's their job and they're following orders because they don't want to disrupt the system. They either don't really believe one way or the other, or they actually know what they're doing is wrong, but they feel like all these forces are pushing them in the direction.
Well,
but once you change
let's
the
go.
power structure,
Let's go to that staffer. Let's go to that same staffer again. Here they are being told by their boss, "You need to leak this. You need to do this," and they're like, "I know it's wrong, but I got a mortgage. I got a kid in private school over here." I'm like, you're just snake bitten, right? So those are the people. Those are the people.
Once you change the power structure,
exactly,
now they feel free to talk. It's exactly right. Yeah. The classic historical example for all of time will be the Nuremberg trials of the Nazis.
Very exciting, Dulan.
Somebody.
Very exciting. I'm just like, whose name is coming out first? Whose name is coming out?
I can feel your tingles through the connection here.
Exactly.
Sure.
Woo. Anyhow, Dulan, the best looking, most talented, most accomplished lawyer in the history of all lawyers ever. It's Steve Dulan. Dulan, thank you as always.
Thanks, Gruber.
Oh, there you go. So 21 jurors, 1 judge, 1 prosecutor, and 1 goal. Fix what's broken in this country. Fix what is broken. Please. We've waited long enough. I'll be right back. We'll do bite number, is it 3? Dumbest thing? Yep. All right, back at it on a free-for-all Friday. Free speech powered by Patriot Mobile's Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. We've had them from all over the country, from California to Alaska this morning. Calls all over the country today, which I really appreciate. The dumbest thing I've heard all week. You heard the woman about her emotional support drink having a complete breakdown in the drive-thru at Starbucks. That was one of the dumb things I heard. But here's another one. Entitlement of the people on government assistance, getting free stuff in all ways it seems demanding more. Listen to this.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of the food stamp office, okay? Okay, hang on. Before I get myself worked up, I just came here to talk about how I went from literally $1,700 in food stamps for a family of 3, okay? I don't work. I stay home every day. I'm not able to work, so I should be getting the maximum amount. Especially because he needs cereal, chips, pop. He needs all that. And I need my energy drinks. So I'm not going to have this taking me down from that much. And they took me all the way down to $120, which they didn't even tell me why. I just got this notice in here that says they were cutting me back on food stamps. So now I'm really going to have to cut back on everything. He's not going to be able to have his pop no more. He's not going to be able to have his cereal every day for breakfast and his chips that he eats all day long. Wow. Great. Thanks.
Wow. Wow. Anthony,
Dude,
what do you got?
This has got to be. I'm surprised it's not satire.
It's not, though. He doesn't get his pop and his chips that he eats all day, and I don't get my energy drinks.
That kid's like, how old? 3?
I don't even think that old.
She's feeding
And
it
she
soda.
says that she can't work. She seems able-bodied to me.
Yeah. Let that marinate. Man, people see that like, what? I thought it was satire at first too, Anthony, but it's just not. Anyhow. All right, we'll take a break. When I come back, a man running for Attorney General, Kevin Kajooki, will be joining me. There's something Kevin and I disagree on. Just one thing. Most things we're probably going to be all right on. We're going to talk to him about that coming up here on the Steve Gruber Show, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to it. Glad to have you here on a Free for All Friday. My next guest is running to be the Attorney General for the state of Michigan, and thank God somebody is. I'll just say that. Well, common sense back in the AG's office would be nice. Kevin Kajooki is an attorney in Birmingham and seeking the Republican nomination to be the Attorney General. Kevin, nice to have you on the program. I think it's the first time we've spoken.
Yes, and I've been a long-time listener, so great to be with you.
Well, I appreciate that. So you do know that we disagree on the wildfires in Canada. I just might as well get that out of the way because you had written an op-ed, interesting piece, but I just happen to disagree with you. I don't think there's any way to control those fires, and we can wag our finger at them and be upset and stomp our feet. But when it's 16.5 million acres, there is no practical way to put out those fires. But to express concern, I can live with that. But there is no practical solution, I don't think. I'll let you say your piece, then we'll move on.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what I take a look at. The facts are that in Manitoba, about 3.8 million acres have been burned this year. That's basically the size of Connecticut, maybe a bit larger than Connecticut. And that's a lot of smoke and that's a lot of fire. I'm not saying that when it comes to God, when we have these lightning strikes, that, frankly, we have to go after God, but we can go after the Canadian government in various ways to ensure that they're doing the maximum stuff in order to prevent or to actually sort of have a prophylactic measure to address these wildfires. So the only other thing I would say is I'm not advocating that the state of Michigan would sue Canada, but I'm asking the Trump administration in my piece to take a look at the USMCA, specifically Chapter 24, in addition to the U.S. State Department with an arbitration precedent from 1941, where we can actually hold, sorry for the pun, Canada's feet to the fire and make sure that they're doing everything that they can, because all the reports I hear, everything I see, it doesn't seem like they're doing everything. And even McMaster University in Canada, not necessarily a bastion of conservative thought, they are basically saying that there's more that can be done. So that's what I'm basically emphasizing in my piece.
Fair enough. I'll leave it there because I could spend the whole time talking about that, and I don't want to do that. We'll just say that we have a difference of opinion there. All right, so when it comes to real issues facing Michigan, pretty clear now that a lot of things went on. Games were played. I think the biggest culprit in 2020 were mass mail-in ballots. I've always thought that. The machines people were pointing at, I always thought it was mass mail-in ballots. We saw 20,000 driver's licenses manufactured in China confiscated in O'Hare International Airport, Chicago. We've seen this happen. We know what they're doing. They're doing it for the express purpose of and they have real names and real addresses to get mail-in ballots. We can't have that anymore. We have to have real ID. We have to have real citizens voting in person. We have to have real guide rails on our voting, don't we? We have to secure our elections.
Our elections are not secure, and it doesn't matter what Jocelyn Benson says. She said herself that 15 individuals voted in the last election, and those individuals were not U.S. citizens. One of the biggest things I'm pushing for, and I wrote an op-ed in the Midwesterner in support of it, is the citizen-only voting ballot initiative to make sure that we can put on the ballot of November of 2026 citizen-only voting, so that gets enshrined in our state constitution. And it'll do the things that you're talking about. So number one, you need to prove your U.S. citizenship. Number two, we go through the voter rolls to make sure it correlates with someone's U.S. citizenship status. Third, if you're doing absentee ballots, you actually have to put your driver's license or your state ID number on that particular ballot when you turn it in, and that makes any type of cheating that much more difficult. So, and that's one of the three pillars of my campaign, and that's specifically for this one, maintaining and really trying to ensure our election integrity.
Kevin, how do we get it on the ballot? It's important that we get it on the, because look, we know that you can get all sorts of things on the ballot no matter how bad it turns out to be, like voters not politicians, or this ranked choice voting they're going to try to get on there, which is the worst thing ever. That's why they're trying to throw it out. Every state that have ranked choice voting, they're trying to get rid of as fast as possible. Alaska missed by a few votes, but they'll get it off this time. They're going to get rid of it because it puts people in office that would never otherwise win anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's another way to twist the elections in favor of losers, right?
Absolutely. And I take a look at ranked choice voting. I've written on that as well. I'm basically emphasizing to people why it's a bad idea. I really think it's a violation of our state constitution, to be honest. But really, there are going to be a few different ballots or a few different petitions circulating to put things on the ballot. So number one, if you get something, all your listeners out there in Michigan, to sign something for ranked choice voting, don't sign it, because that would put the question on the ballot. Second, when you do see a petition for citizen-only voting, sign that. And that's really going to be two among a few other things to make sure that our elections are going to remain with integrity, and that we're going to make sure that every legal, real vote here in Michigan counts.
Right. One of the headlines on one of these op-eds, you've been busy, by the way, China's America land grab, which I appreciate, you worked hard. China's America land grab threatens Michigan's future. We've been talking about this a lot. I did a special with John Solomon, best investigative reporter working in America Today, on this whole thing with Michigan, University of Michigan students trying to bring a fungus into the state that would potentially knock out half our corn, half our wheat, half our beans. Unacceptable. These people should be prosecuted to the extent of the law, the 5 Michigan students, and I'm not picking on the University of Michigan, but these are the people that have been caught up taking pictures at Camp Grayling of the Taiwan American military exercises. They should be prosecuted to the maximum extent of the law, and we should not sell 1 square inch of real estate in this state to China. Period. Your thoughts?
I completely agree. And if we take a look at Camp Grayling, it's even worse, because if you take a look at Mecosta, there were thousands of, frankly, folks from China trying to actually purchase land over there. And that's in close proximity to Camp Grayling, which happens to be, for your listeners, the largest National Guard facility in the whole entire country.
Absolutely.
And they were actually trying to fly drones and things like that. That's not a good thing.
No, in fact, anybody that grew up in Michigan, I grew up right close to I-96, you would see every summer since I was a boy, the caravans of people, the convoys of military vehicles streaming north every summer. And again, this summer, you see it all the time. They used to be bigger on some occasions. But anyhow, it's got to stop. We cannot, look, I can't go buy land in China. I can't even own land in Mexico. I can have a 99-year lease, but I can't own land in Mexico. Why do we allow that to happen here? I mean, Kristi Noem set the example. She went and took land back away from the Chinese in her state of South Dakota before she wanted to be Secretary of Homeland Security. Can't we do that here?
There are a lot of things we can do here. I mean, one thing I point out in my op-ed, we don't actually have precise records or regulations about how much land is owned. Here in the Midwest, we have an approximation that about 44,000 acres or so are owned actually by the Chinese, but we don't have all these records. So what I would be doing as AG, if elected, is making sure that we first investigate all of these particular foreign purchases, see what people have been doing with that. Second, I would be working with the legislature to ensure that we can preclude these particular type of purchases. And third, I'd be working with the federal government to ensure that we can do everything possible from the federal and state level to address this problem.
All right, Kevin, real quick, where do they find you?
They can go to kevinformi.com, and I'm also on Twitter. They can read all the op-eds, see all the interviews, and in fact, this one I'll probably go ahead and link right after we're done.
There you go. Kevin, greatly appreciate you being here, and good conversation. I'm sure we will talk again.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, everybody. Kevin Kajooki, he's running to be the Attorney General in Michigan. Man, we could use one. That's for sure. We could use one. Back in a moment on the Steve Gruber Show. All right, battling through it all every day and knocking down the nonsense and trying to tell you what rises to the top. That's what we do here. Currently, Ivy is not in the studio. No, she's running the children, 2 of them, up to get their haircut. The children being the dogs, and it's groomer day, which is good. I mean, they're baling hair this time of the year. I mean, you know how it is. You have dogs, you're picking up hair all the time. Ivy, good morning. Welcome to it.
Good morning. Yes, it's like baling dog hair hay, essentially, every day. But, the more that I surf the internet, the more I realize that, the Democrats have a major problem.
What is it?
I hear Nancy Pelosi yesterday in an interview saying, I don't know what Putin has on Trump, but I just can't believe that they're meeting in Alaska. And
it's so dumb.
And I just don't trust him. It's like, what? Now, I studied international relations.
I know you did.
Diplomacy in college. I mean, the point is, we're supposed to be having conversations with our adversaries. We're supposed to be trying to make sure that we have relations with all of the different countries around the world, including Russia.
Maybe especially
and the other
Russia.
thing is, no one's buying this anymore. No one's buying the BS of this Russia hoax. And I cannot believe even yesterday she says it.
Well, because they've got nothing else. They've got absolutely nothing else. They've got, look.
Well, have you noticed, have you also, sorry, don't mean to
Go ahead.
pound on this, but have you also noticed recently, the Democrats always are in lockstep with the way that they talk about the narratives and the topics of the day.
That's because they have a meeting every morning on the phone, every day.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And so now it's, well, Trump said he was going to have the war ended in one day. And it's been 100 and whatever days. And so therefore he was wrong. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
And you hear this came out on Nancy Pelosi's mouth yesterday. You hear it from the folks on CNN. You hear it from the folks on MSNBC. It's like, he is actually having a sit-down meeting with the man today.
Right,
Maybe
and it's incredibly important because it's the first U.S.-Russia summit in years. I mean, did she scream when Barack Obama met with Putin? No. When Joe Biden, who are you again? No, you didn't worry about that. Didn't worry about that. It's absolute nonsense and
Are
garbage.
you my neighbor?
Who are you? You have ice cream.
Oh my gosh, it is actually extremely frightening, when all of these truths are beginning to unravel about the unbelievable conspiracy that occurred, before the 2016 election, after the election was over. It is mind-boggling, and I don't know if people truly understand the depth and breadth of how bad the scandal really is. And if they're willing to do this to a sitting president, and what are they willing to do to cheat, to lie, to steal, to continue to have power, those people on the left and those who think that they, know better than the American people, who are the ones that are supposed to have the power in this country.
Yeah.
And when those sort of folks do that, it rips the power away from the American people. And that's really the bottom line here.
Yeah. All right, let me just change subjects on you here just for a second, all right? Because these Democrats are all globalists, right? And I just want to throw something at you here because you cook a lot, right? You like cooking, you like food, right? You're kind of a foodie, right?
I love to cook, yeah.
Right, so Bill Gates Anthony showed this to me a little bit ago. I just looked it up. Bill Gates has a brand new company, a startup called Savor, S-A-V-O-R. You know what they make?
Yeah, what do they make?
Synthetic butter. Butter made from carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and oxygen using no animals, plants, or traditional oils. The process involves a thermochemical method.
Wait a minute. Whoa, it has carbon dioxide?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was bad.
Well, it's going to destroy the world. It combines carbon dioxide from the air, hydrogen from water to create fat molecules that mimic the taste, texture, and appearance of dairy butter. I wouldn't eat that for any reason ever. Just putting it out
Agreed.
there.
It's like margarine. It's like oil. You know, it's not butter. It's oil.
What, Anthony?
This is not. I don't know.
Put it on your lab-grown meat.
I don't know that you should really trust a man who believes. What did you say?
He said, put it on your lab-grown meat. Yeah, just smear that fake chemical butter on your lab-grown meat, and maybe season it with some of that cricket sauce. What is wrong with people?
Sounds appetizing.
It's seriously. You know why we don't eat crickets in America? Because we have cows and chickens and sheep and stuff. And sometimes we go hunting for deer and turkeys. You know why we don't eat synthetic butter? Because we don't have to. Good grief, what is wrong with people?
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, I saw
my
the
late
problem.
grandmother would fish for bluegill with crickets.
Well, that's a different thing. We're eating the bluegill, not the cricket.
Now that I can agree with.
Yeah, that I can deal with. We have the least number of cattle since 1951, and I was trying to figure out how that worked. I solved the problem because the cattle we have today produce 3 times as much meat as the cattle of the 1950 era. So there you go. So you're still eating real meat.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go. They're just beefing up. Okay, that's all I got. Ivy, make sure the dogs get a nice haircut. They can get that cool bandana thing. All right, thanks. Love you.
Do my best. Love you.
All right, there you have it. So you want Savor butter? It's not butter. Margarine was like one molecule away from being plastic. Anyhow, it's disgusting. I'll eat real butter. I'm going to eat bacon. I think I'll have a ribeye tonight just to help, intensify my anti-world buzz. Look, I like real butter on a real ribeye. I'm going to tell you that right now. By the way, the Jeffrey sent in a note. So his favorite, you guys were talking about good steaks, right? He says the best one in where he is Zinda's in Williamston. Zynda. He says great steak. I don't know. The best steak I ever had was at a roadhouse in Cody, Wyoming. Best ever. Never forget it. Just some little roadhouse, Cody, Wyoming. Just the greatest thing ever. But see, real butter allows your synaptic relays to fire because that healthy fat and so forth. Fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K2. All of these things.
Butter is brain food.
Butter is brain food. And then, this thing about crickets, I've harped on, I'm going to stay on this platform for a second. Crickets, exoskeletons, right? It's like running steel wool through your guts. Tears you up. Humans are not designed to digest exoskeletons. So this idea they want to put cricket powder, no. Absolutely not. And why in God's name would I want some meat, and I use meat cultured in a factory, cultured in a petri dish? I'm sorry. No, I'll eat turtles before I eat that crap. Right? I'm telling you, I'll eat raccoons. Something. Why is there this push? This is rhetorical. Why is this push to create fake food? We know that highly processed food is terrible for you. Everybody knows that. I mean, Anthony, you're kind of a health guy. You know that. Processed food is garbage, right? Highly processed garbage. You need real food. So why are there this effort by Bill Gates and all these others to create all this highly processed garbage? I don't think it has our best interests in mind. There's food for thought on a Friday. See what I did there? See how good I am? Fight the good fight. Keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. This is the Steve Gruber Show. And remember, only you can save America, and you can do it by eating a ribeye with real butter. And don't forget the bourbon, right? Don't forget the emotional support bourbon. Sometimes your feelings need a drink. Have a great weekend.